After about a year in La Cruz, it's time to leave her. There we go. That's the tricky part. The rest is easy. I am underway. Beautiful morning. It's 7 o'clock. Sun is up a ways. And you know, I was so busy getting the anchor up, I didn't do any filming of it. The simple reason is I forgot, but also it's very intensive being by myself. I have to run up and down into the chain locker to spread the chain out so it doesn't stack up too high and come back up and all those things, and then wash the anchor. I lower it a few feet if it's come too high, and then I back up, and that way if there's room, of course, I wash the anchor and then the bottom part of the chain, and it turns out really, really well. So here we go. It's a kind of marine layer, they call it in California. Most people call it fog or mist. But anyhow, there we go. We're headed out to around Cape Corrientes, and after that it's wide open. So here we go. Just gotta do a little bit of trimming of propeller pitch and RPM and check everything out. Good to be underway. There we go. There's the window. Gotta clean it up a bit. This allows me to see from my bunk how the Windex and the mainsail and the headsail. I can see all of it through this window from my bunk in the pilot house. Pretty neat, huh? This is how I secure the anchor. No place to get away. And here I have to show you my brand new profile furler for the Genoa. For this Genoa I had to cut away the luff with all the grommets for the hanks. On the previous roller stay it used hanks because the whole stay turned. So I had to cut away the whole luff and sew on a luff tape. And also I had to make loops at the tack and at the head instead of the very large grommets they had before, which would not roll up very well. So very, very, very happy with the new profile installation. Still motoring out Bahia de Banderas to get past Cabo Corrientes over there on our port side. And hopefully the thermal build will bring some breeze from the west-northwest, and I can head off on a starboard tack. That's it for now. With the air being rather light, I decided to shake a bit of that reef out after all. So, little slack to the main sheet here. I take off the boom brake here. Oh, forgot my driver. That'll do for now. Put the boom brake back on. Harden up on the halyard. Cleat the halyard bag off. And it's done. How do you like that? Pretty quick. Harden up a bit on the sheet. All set, all done. It's day 6 and still have wonderful weather. Been doing over 6 knots for a good deal of the time. with once in a while periods of 2 hours or so of lower winds and only doing about 2 knots or even a bit less, but overall wonderful weather in an area that's supposed to be a dead zone in terms of favorable winds. So very happy with that. And my brilliant wind vane is doing such a great job steering me, totally unattended, does a splendid job steering me. Thank you, Michel de Ridder, for designing that system. I ease the sheets, I have to start rigging a preventer. Boom. Sailing the ocean, sailing period, even close to shore, demands all your attention, physical, mental. You have to be on watch mentally, even if you're sleeping, the slightest change in movement, and you have to look into it. And even if you suspect something might not be a problem, you have the duty to check whether it is a problem or not. You cannot ignore it. So that keeps me active all the time, physically and mentally. I eat very clean food. I was a vegetarian or pescatarian for quite a few years, but now I eat a little bit of red meat once in a while, clean red meat. The most important thing in nutrition is to avoid processed food. Processed food is absolutely dangerous to your health. So cook your own meals or eat in eateries where you have a modicum of control, knowing what's in it. So that's very important. I do some exercises, not on the ocean because of the motion on the ocean, but I do exercises when I'm in port, mostly chiropractic exercises and calisthenics, and that keeps my body parts nimble and functioning. And I also do mental exercises, and I do intentions. I tell myself intentions. A haluna is guided, guarded, and protected at all times. And such as, I intend that my jib holds together for the remainder of the voyage. That's the kind of intention I do. And I always do a lot of gratitudes. Everything that goes smoothly, I express vocally. I express gratitude for it having been positive and good. So I do a lot of gratitudes. Come outside, come on. Come. It's been 1 week, 7 days, 780 miles. I've been very fortunate with the weather, wonderful weather, good progress. Over 125, several days in a row now. Very, very agreeable, very happy. What better place than the middle of the Pacific Ocean to read What better place than the middle of the Pacific Ocean to read a monumental What better place than the middle of the Pacific Ocean to read a monumental 800-page novel, Anna Karenina. Light air, four knots. All is well. Every so often she wants to luff up, and then she starts running away like a runaway train. And I found it really impossible with the tiller to bring her back off the wind. So I rigged myself a little line to the tiller, and watch this. Power steering, how'd you like that? Hartmann to the mid-Vane. We're okay again for a while. Poor man's whisker pole. Genoa sheeted to the boom end. Works quite well. It's very simple. In fact, in my case here right now, the Genoa sheet takes the load of the main sheet. The main sheet is kind of slack, but it's all working. It's all working. That's what's important. Before leaving on a voyage, I make about 20 soups. 10 of them are minestrone, and the other 10 or potage parmentier, translated to English, that is potato leek soup. This is my last soup now for lunch, and I really love it. Another thing I really love is bristling sardines, and I have them every day in olive oil. Pardon me for my manners. They beautiful. Now for dessert. Really love these biscotti that I got. Look at these beautiful biscotti. Aren't they lovely? I know they have some sugar in them, but you know, you have to sin once in a while. That's about the only sugar I imbibe. My weakness. This is my wonderful German rye bread, and then I have my Mexican butter. And then my wonderful French brie cheese. Delicious. me explain a little bit how the wind vane steering system works. Here's the wind vane, and it has a clutch system, which is a V-belt, which you engage onto this pulley here, and this is the leverage and the linkage to the shaft that goes down to the trim tab. And this line here is simply to stop this from going too far. It's a bit like taking your knee beyond straight, not so good. So that's what that is all about. So it's really quite simple. And the trim tab, of course, it moves the large rudder effortlessly. And the same thing applies if I want to use the autopilot. It pins onto here, it does the same thing, and I put this here in neutral. The vane is free to swing the way it wants, and the autopilot drives via this pin here, okay? And this black cloth is on here. It's on here for a very simple reason. When under power with navigation lights, this stern light here, it really shines brightly onto the stainless steel, and it's not so good for distraction and night vision, therefore the black cloth cover. Day 30. The wind has increased quite a bit in the last couple of days, and we're making huge progress. We're doing over 7 knots now. We're going a little tour up on deck, okay? before yesterday I rolled up the Genoa because she wasn't behaving all that well, even reefed. Now I'm using the jib, the wonderful jib. It behaves much better, especially since we're running nearly dead before the wind. And so often she collapses and flops. And generally the jib behaves much better and is beautifully efficient, working very well. Good morning. It's just a few minutes after sunrise on the 38th day of this voyage. 135 miles in the last 24 hours and 4,632 miles on the clock. And we're getting right to the Dateline. Here we go. East. It just turned east. $1800 Zulu. The going is pretty good, and I'm gonna get ready to jibe. The first change of tack in 38 days. I've been on the same tack all this time. Jibed after a horrendous Genoa wrap. Took me 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours to unravel. I lost the shackle. It's hard not to lose shackles. I guess I'm gonna get a bigger one. after 38 days on starboard tack. Start again. After 38 days on starboard tack, 38 days. Yesterday, shortly after crossing the international dateline, I jibed, and now we are on port tack. And we are heading more southwest rather than west to knock off, we have to knock off about 4 degrees of latitude. We are at 11 right now. Majuro is at 7 north. So this is the home stretch, headed to Majuro. Light air, doing about 5 knots. All is well. A little inspection tour before the day is out. Nice breeze. So here we go forward. It is day 41. Very, very little wind. Just squalls all over the place. Squall alley. I hope the situation improves a bit because I need some wind. I'm glad the wind has picked up a bit and we're doing a good 5 knots. That's absolutely wonderful after the near calm this morning. Still squalls here and there. Squall alley. But, you know, we're ready for anything.
Too often I take him the slide out of the Vane. Not the Vane, the preventer. We got hit by a bit of a nasty squall, and I actually had to override. The wind vane couldn't quite handle a really, really heavy squall, so for about half an hour, I had to do a little bit of power steering with the winch here to bear off. We were making outrageous speed. The highest I seen was 10.5 knots. Anyhow, that squall just doesn't want to go away, but it's kind of under control now, and the Vane is got it under control too, so I can relax and finish my coffee. serious rain happening here, let me tell you. Just before entering Majuro, look at this rain. Good for collecting once I'm set up for collecting rain again. Love that, but wow, right now, a bit of a nuisance.
After a nearly flawless crossing of the vast Pacific Ocean, over 5,300 nautical miles, I nearly met disaster on final approach to the entrance of Majuro Atoll. I was hit by a very, very heavy rain squall. Not so heavy in the wind department, but unbelievably heavy rain. The visibility was reduced to about 50 yards or so, and I'm on final approach to the entrance. And the computer had previously told me when the squall started that I was a half hour or so away from the entrance. And when I then looked as it was starting to clear, moments later, because it was very brief and heavy, I was very, very, very close to this island. And the radar didn't help because the low island and the surf were very confusing. And the computer had frozen, not advanced my position. Now it showed me where I was, and it was very, very close. And I was shocked. I put Ahaluna in full reverse. I was motoring, of course. There was no wind at this point, and I had been motoring, and I'm so close to this island. I go into reverse and line myself up with the entrance markers, and I let out a sigh of relief. It was very close to disaster. I could have ended the life of Ahaluna and myself. That's how close and hazardous this was. That proves that a voyage is not over till it's over. And so after that, I had an easy, slow motoring across the lagoon to the eastern end where the Ulica anchorage is with the other yachts, and everything ended wonderfully. I was received by the local yachties and given a hand tying up to a mooring that had been prepared for me. So it all ends well. And I'm very, very, very grateful and pleased.